Hey Taurus. Welcome to Opal Oracle, anyone who is new and anyone returning, hi. Azumi's right here. I already picked your cards. I just tried to record, but I needed to make more space. There was something about making more space. Okay? I'm also recording inside, so what does that mean? Making space in a new environment, right? Inside. Azumi says to pick new cards. Azumi also says to not worry about work. Okay? She says, I don't want you fretting an eyelash, I heard. I want you to know that you are safe, you are loved, and you are protected. If you're doing the best that you can, well then you're doing the right thing. Okay? Everyone learns at different times, right? Everyone reacts to their environment differently, depending on what creature they are, right? You want apple juice? I guess she likes apple juice. Good girl. I ain't scared. Okay. Zumi also wants you to let go of any kind of friction in your heart, okay, about what it is that you want right now, okay? Something that you want, well, you may have to wait a little bit for it, okay? Nothing comes overnight, right? Like Zumi used to be a puppy this big. I didn't see her when she was a puppy, but I bet she was the cutest. But you know what I mean? Like, it takes time to grow. It takes time to be a new person. And with Uranus in your sign, in Aries, in your first house, well, you could be up against a lot of things. You also have Saturn in your 9th house, and Saturn's all about karma when it's in retrograde, okay? So it's important for you to, that's enough, leave it be. It's got to heal, okay? Right? Like Zumi had a boo-boo, so she's trying to lick it. She's doing her natural reaction to try to heal, to try to expedite the process, but actually what that does is irritate it more. Okay? So there's a need for you, especially if you're up against anyone who's trying to use, like, send you negative vibes, or use, like, people who are more into the dark arts, if you are aware of these kinds of things. Well, in general, if anyone's who is aware, how you combat that the best is by keeping your energy at a really high frequency, okay? And also keeping patient, particularly when you're in the dark about certain things and you don't know exactly how they're supposed to go, okay? How it's supposed to all work out. But I want you to know that it will work out, okay? And you will end up in a position that is more appropriate to your soul's purpose, okay? This angel keeps wanting to stick its head out, okay? This was also in what you want. So you have to distinguish right now the difference between want and need. There's a big difference between those two things, right? So let's pick some new cards. I decided the cards really feel different too in this environment. They're softer, they're more malleable, right? They're more flexible. So these are words that you should incorporate into your life during this time. I haven't told anybody else about that, so it's specifically for you, okay? And then I just saw a bull doing yoga. So even though it may not be appropriate for you, or what you think will be appropriate for you, but I see that that would be important to flexibility, right? Your soul, your heart. Wow, see, now that's in your heart. Good. Your mind. 6 of Cups. What do you want? What do you want? You want the Tower? Let's see. I was wondering what it was. What you want is whatever it is that you're confused about, wherever it is that you feel like, oh my God, I got to start over. I need you to, part of what you want, even if it's unconsciously, is to remove the confusion, okay? Blast out of this world and come into this space utilizing, this is fire, right? This is Aries. They are so ecstatic about new things, okay? They're so, like, this is your inner child, right? Like, yeah, I am fearless. I am so, and I just keep hearing ecstatic, okay? This is also, wands can represent like creativity and spirituality. So apply it as you may. But I want you to know that this environment that you're coming into, even if it's just within yourself, it may be very new and outside of your natural element, but that doesn't mean that you cannot, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to feel out of your element, because you're not just earth. You are fire, you are water, you are air. What do you need? The Empress. This one wanted to come out too. I'm going to attach, it goes need, and then you have this advice column or outcome, this one. Look at that. I wanted to connect what this road was and what you need, right? Which this is beautiful. These are both Earth. This is actually your card. Okay, this is Libra and Taurus. But so ever since 2 aces, wow. Okay. You know, because the thing is with the Tower too, it doesn't have to be traumatic. Okay, it could mean that you want something to be over with, like done, right? But again, we have to keep patience, because life doesn't work like that, right? Have to keep patience. Can't, just because you're moving into this fire element, and Scorpio in their water is like, hey, how do you deal with your emotions? How do you deal with this situation? And your mind is now making new understandings to what that all means, what your independence means, right? You have Jupiter in your 7th house. Okay? Don't lose your patience. Okay? You need to keep that patience in check. And if you do, I see that this can actually become a great idea. Okay? What you want are new ideas. You want to have a clean slate, right? Like tilling the soil so that you can plant something brand new, right? Something that's really, really, really emotionally fulfilling, that brings you peace of self, peace of with you and other people. This is your head. I like that you have a lot of emotions in your head. I like that you're thinking about sweetness. I like that you're thinking about giving. I like that you're thinking about receiving. These are important things, but I also see that there is a little bit of confusion with the persons, places, and things that you should be giving and receiving. Like, how does that actually work out? Because one of those people is you. And one of those places is you within that place. And one of those things is you within the thing. How do I give appreciation to this apple juice? How do I receive it? Do I just slam it down? Or do I like enjoy, like feel the temperature of like how different it is from the environment? And how nice that is, the contrast, right? It's about going slowly. There's no need to rush anything. Okay? You know what rushing does is it makes it makes an imbalanced foundation that will end up in this position anyway, because it wasn't built appropriately. Now again, Because you're Taurus, because you go slowly, right? You're Mother Earth. You are, I told you before, but you're the tender of Mother Earth. That's a big job. You're one of the tenders of Mother Earth. Because 2, your house, to Libra, 7th house, which actually would go like this, I guess, is 5. That's where you get your Hierophant from. Okay? I see that during Gemini season, you're actually going to be receiving something that you actually need. That will, like a sweetness. Okay? There's compassion here. That's stable. And yes, of course, you could be desiring this from other people in your life overall, but it also is about the way that you give and receive to yourself. That is what determines the soul's journey and how we perceive that. Okay? Now, your heart, this is Sagittarius' card technically. Your heart wants you to be barefooted more. It also wants you to pray more. Okay? Specifically pray to remove yourself from ego so that you can be enlightened. So that you can have the relationships that you want with yourself and with others. It's important to pray for the strength to accept the things that you cannot change, the courage to change the things that you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Whatever it is that has happened in the past, sorry, I have a washing machine in my apartment and it's like going off and it seems loud. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's spinning. I wish I could pause it, but I can't, you know? So it's kind of like, I feel bad for the people downstairs. I hope they're not home. Slowing down. It's okay, it's just a washing machine. It's like, how do we deal in our environment? How do we deal with our environment? Like, I could be like, wow, that washing machine is a blessing. I don't have to do that by hand. Cool. Or I could be like, oh my God, this is awful. I wish I never even had that washing machine. Come on. Of course I wouldn't say that. That's silly. Because sometimes what are we doing with this washing machine? We're cleaning. We're getting rid of the dirt. We're getting rid of the old. We're cleansing something. And I always, always see cleansing with you. And actually, a new friend of mine, Sonal, sweet, sweet woman, hi. I don't know if she watches this, but she's not a Taurus. But she told me about 11 days after, now I'm starting to get a little annoyed, fuck. 11 days after the full moon and the new moon is a great time to fast for 36 hours. It breaks down to a 9, which is Fibonacci sequence. It's the highest we can go numerically before the cycle starts over, right? Sorry, I didn't realize. It's my first time using this washing machine. You know when it's the first time you've ever done something in a way? I mean, I've used the washing machine before, right? But obviously I didn't know that this was going to do that. But in a way, like the whole time I was smiling about it. It's not like it's annoying. It's just is what it is. There's like, it's kind of like, I don't know. Like when I moved into this place, okay, I get this new sink. Well, I did dishes the other day and I bought myself like a dish rack from the thrift store because they're wicked expensive in the regular stores. But the point is that I was really excited to do my dishes because I had a sink. I was like, wow, I have my own sink. My sink. But you know what I mean? I have a sink to do the dishes, and I have water, running water. I have this machine that does this thing. It's like appreciating what it is that you have. Appreciating what it is that you have. Now, I see that your soul wants you to really have a wider scope of how do you perceive your soul's journey right now? You know what I mean? I want you to take what it is that when Uranus first came into your sign and whatever happened since March, okay, to accept it. There's something about acceptance, okay, deeply. You need to accept it in your heart in totality. No ego allowed. If you use ego still, well then it's really hard to plant a garden when it's all rocky. The only thing that really grows in rocky soil is potatoes. And even then, they're difficult. It's a difficult harvest. It's a difficult growing season. Like, whatever. I see it's important. I was waiting for that. It was 17 minutes. That's the star card, okay? It's about healing. Because you know what? Cleansing something, right? Taking out all the yucky out of something. Well, it's not going to be silent. It's not going to be perfect. It's not like you're going to be in this life and like nothing's going to affect you. It does affect you, right? It has to affect you. If it didn't affect you, then you'd be a sociopath. And you'd never heal anyway because you wouldn't think that you need to. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be here anyway. So you're probably not that. But then, now that this thing has stopped, what a relief. What a relief. The beauty of silence. That's a big part of your soul's journey. And not hiding things, not that kind of silence. I mean the silence of contentment. Right? Because this is earth, this is fire and water. You don't have any swords, so it's not about communication right now. You have 3 major arcana and 2 aces, okay? Which breaks down to, there's your 3. Okay, this isn't what you need. There's really a big difference between, because I feel like some of the things that you want, I think that Cancer, if I remember correctly, Cancer also had this, which came before you, right? Their first one. But it's sometimes like where we don't realize I guess this washing machine sings the song when it's done. Cute. Sometimes some of the things that you want, because you're ruled by the 5 senses, the dogs are like, what the fuck was that singing? It's okay, baby. Sometimes some of the things that you want are not good for you. Okay? They cause you trouble. So it's really important to check in with your heart and be like, is what I want have to do, is it from my ego or is it from my soul? Because that's usually when something is conflictual, right? Because when you're going with the soul's purpose, everything seems aligned, everything seems where it's supposed to be, and that's where that silence comes in. Because in a way, well, what are we really going to say about it? So I see during this time, this second half of this month, of this mid-month, it really is about the beauty of, like, the beauty of silence. Because when we're quiet, whether we're around people or not, when we're quiet, it helps us to understand whether, like, how much can we quiet our mind? And again, not to ignore anything. That's when, like, really good ideas come. Okay? Yeah, really, really, really good ideas. Okay, things that could bring you more wish fulfillment, because part of Uranus in your first house is about, it has to do with your career. You know what I mean? It's not to say that you are going to you're going to just not, you know, I mean, for a lot of you, in a way, I'm sure that you already feel like you're in kind of a position where you have to reserve your money a little bit, right? Because something significant has been changing. But it's all changing so that you can, well, define yourself a little bit differently. It's all about, if you've been defining yourself through your job, well, then you probably are going to have a new job in some way or another. Again, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to completely start from a brand new, like, you know, go to some other country and, like, become a doctor when you were a florist last month. No, it's not about that. I mean, maybe for some of you, you decide to go to school for something that's significantly different, which actually Saturn would highly approve in being in your 9th house. But either way, it's about taking the skills that you had and expanding them into, Saturn's like, how else can you use the skills that you already have? It's about the higher mind, okay? Saturn's not trying to take anything away from you. Uranus is not trying to take anything away from you. It's like I told Capricorn, you can be anyone that you want to be, but you're not allowed to be who you were before. Exactly. Okay? Because again, you're not going to just, like, have a sex change and become a totally new person tomorrow, whatever. And even if you did, you'd still be that same person. You just didn't heal what it is that you needed to heal. But that's another whole story. The point is that no change comes overnight. And right now, there's a big push for you to understand well, you really do hold the world in your hands. The world doesn't actually look like that. It's not a ball. It's like that, maybe. Well, whatever. The point is that you decide what you want to do and how you want to do it. But you're not allowed to do it exactly like you always have in the past, and that could just be energetically speaking. Okay? It could be the way that you thought about yourself, the way that you dealt with inner conflict, the way that you dealt with pain that you hid from everything. God wasn't going to let you suffer any longer. Put yourself in these cages and boxes and throw all your bullshit in Scorpio's backyard, no offense. You're just not allowed to do that anymore. You have to love yourself. Because you deserve it. And you have to learn about giving and receiving. And how each person does that differently. Right? And that creation and change is one of, like, accepting the transformation, Scorpio, your opposite, is how you move through the most successfully through the confusion in your day-to-day life, or how it is that you process your emotions, etc., so that you can have healthier relationships, okay? So you can have a successful business. Because you're not allowed to lie about who you are anymore. And you have to look deeper into the pain in your heart, if there is, and whatever it is in there, particularly having to do with your mama, or how you keep your emotions all inside this cup, right? Because look where we ended up again. And once you let those out, again, that's how you find out who really wants to work with you. Who really works with you well? How do you work with yourself? When you do healing on yourself, you attract other people who are healing. When you love and care for yourself, take the time to rest, right? You don't just work, and then sleep, and then work. No, not allowed anymore. You have to take a nap once in a while. That's how you succeed. That's how you gain more energy and also satisfy the inner child. Think about a kid, a child. They have to nap. They have to stop once in a while and take a break. Okay? Again, that's where we find, that's where I heard solace and inspiration. Let's see. Let me pick a word oracle for you. Taurus. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Beehive is what I heard, what I see. A beehive. Well, a beehive is a collective effort, right? A beehive starts with, what does that start with? Well, you have to purvey, right? And survey. Is it purvey a word? I think so. Peruse. You survey the environment, right? You go to a new environment. You're like, okay, yeah, this would be suiting to me. You go to check it out though, right? You're like there, and then you're like, all right, would this be a good tree? Is this a good tree? Is this a good place? Then you have to confer with the other bees, right? Like, hey, what do you think? And what do you think? Do you think this is good? Everyone comes to a mutual conclusion about what the decision is, whether this is a good idea or not. If everyone is in accordance and agreement, then what happens? Well, then you start building. Right? And that building takes effort and time, which you love. And then by the end of it, you have yourself a home where it's warm and it's safe, where you're safe, you're loved, and you're protected, right? Where family is welcome, where there's always food, right? Everyone working towards mutual goals for the greater good. This is really important, okay? And what happens? What is the result of a beehive? Honey. Super sweet, right? I would see, for those of you who aren't allergic, honey is really good for you. It's really good. My great-grandmother Molly, actually, the only thing, well, one of the few things that I know about her is that she used to take a tablespoon of honey every day with her tea because she had really bad arthritis. And she said it helped her a lot. She was a hard worker. She had 12 kids. It makes sense why to have 0. But, you know, the point is that, yeah, a beehive. I also keep seeing like a 1950s hairstyle also, you know, where it like kind of like swoops up like this. And I feel like sometimes that's where people, like in movies, they would like hide things in there. So if you had a bunch of bees on your head, you want to make sure that they're not angry, okay? So that's about keeping your thoughts calm and centered while you're building this beehive, okay? You don't, if the bees in the beehive are not getting along for whatever reason, I don't know if they would do that. I don't think so. But humans would, you know? So there's something about having good communication so that the collective goal is accomplished the most accordingly, okay? The most successfully, the most productively. Cool. Right, Zumi? Yeah. Oh my God. Love you. All right, I'm going to go hang out with my pups. See you later.